Welcome back to Gibbo MMA. It is UFC Abu Dhabi fight week, and this is the preview, but we've got a lot to get into. We've got fight announcements, Tom Aspinall. We've got Sean Strickland suspended, but I'm going to go through, break down some fights that I find really interesting at UFC Abu Dhabi. I did a breakdown of Whittaker and RDR, just specifically a video on them. So if you want to go watch that and get more of a deep dive and in-depth breakdown of that matchup, go and watch the previous video I uploaded. But yeah, we're back in Abu Dhabi. This is Whittaker's third straight fight in Abu Dhabi, so he's becoming a bit of a second home for him fighting there. So it's a bit of a way to travel from the east coast of Australia for him. It's a 14-hour flight straight, just long haul flight on the double decker A380 airplanes they use for those ones. So, but yeah, I've been looking forward to this matchup as soon as it got announced. So RDR, the timeline of this, he beat Bo Nickel. And then literally like that Tuesday after the weekend, he gets a call. They agree to the fight and it's booked. So here we are now, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. It's such a great matchup, and both guys' styles are going to come clashing together. And I think we're in for a spectacular finish on either part. I give my official predictions on the other video, so go watch that if you want to see my full take on the fight. But I'll briefly just go over it again. So RDR's a former one championship, two-time former one championship title holder in the middleweight and light heavyweight division. So he is a big boy. Like he's 6'4", and Robert Whittaker's 6 foot. Sorry, someone's fucking around here. Anyways, yeah, so he's simultaneously held the middleweight and light heavyweight titles at one championship. What the fuck is going on with this light? It's having a seizure on me. All right. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. You know what? Back on the coffee. And the review 318. I did say I'd give my left nut, then rather give up coffee. I tell you what, it's coming clutch again, because I don't know about you guys, but there's something about airport runs. If someone asks you to take you to the airport, you can't say no, because you've been in that position where you need to go to the airport and get dropped off. And it's probably one of the most underrated drop-offs, favors you can do. And you can never say no to an airport drop-off, because I know if you're the one going to the airport, it's like you don't want to go spend $50 on an Uber taxi just for the airport. Like, you're already spending all this money traveling. So like having family or friends give you a ride to the airport is like super helpful. And that was me this morning. Had to drop some family at the airport for a 6 a.m. flight. So yeah, it was a 4 a.m. get up, and yeah, left at 4 a.m. to do the drop off. And yeah, fuck, need this. But yeah, airport drop offs, it's pretty much like the buy. Like, you can't say no. Like, you can say, oh, can you drop me off on a night out, or can you, the mechanic getting dropped off to the mechanic. Sometimes you might they might drop you back home. But yeah, airport, like, as far as ranking favors and drop-offs, as far as lifts, airport drop-off like trumps everything. It's like no one will say no to you if you ask them for an airport drop-off. You'll get no's for, can you drop us out on a night out? Mechanic, generally people are a bit busy, but there's something about airport and getting lifts to the airport from family and friends where even if someone asked you, you're kind of just like, oh, I can't say no because you know how like underrated and helpful it is. So that was me this morning because I've definitely been on the other end where I've been dropped off to the airports, and yeah, it's just something I think we take for granted and look past. But um, yeah, airport drop-offs are undisputed, undefeated. They never get a no. So, but yeah, back to RDR. Had some lighting issues. He's 3-0 in the UFC. He's a ranked number 11 guy. Wait, let me just double check. Rank 13, and he's jumping up to Robert Whittaker, rank 5. So what's on the line here? Is this too big of a challenge for RDR? Is he getting catapulted? Is this too big of is Robert too high level of a matchup for him? And I don't know, I initially thought that, and as it gets closer, like RDR, like as far as his size, he is massive for middleweight. Like he's pretty much the size of Alex Pereira. Like he's getting up. I think he's probably bigger than Alex Pereira almost. He's definitely a bit thicker than Pereira. Not as like long, not as probably long arms, but he's definitely got the size advantage on Whittaker. But I feel like the stand-up and just the mixing of the martial arts and MMA fighting, Whittaker's levels above, but RDR has that jiu-jitsu where he does have a better skill set. But that is why I'm really excited for this fight. And my prediction is Whittaker by TKO, just because RDR in the first few rounds can be a bit sloppy with his head movement and just get caught really easy, or a TKO towards the later rounds because RDR I think will gas out because he's only been the distance once in a 5-round. He's only fought 2 5-round fights. No, he's only gone the distance in 1 5-round fights. He's fought 5 rounds, like championship fights, but he's only ever gone the distance in one of them. And then the other time he went the distance was in a 3-rounder. Whereas Bobby Knuckles, he knows how to fight 5 rounds. He's been doing it for 10 plus years, and just who he's been fighting as well. Yeah, go watch the breakdown video because I go really in depth on that matchup. But just to give it a little gloss over again. It's going to be a great fight. But the co-main, after doing a bit of more research on these two guys, Petr Yan versus Court McGee. This when I looked more into it and looked at the styles and path to victories and who's going to win, I definitely also looking forward to this fight. This is the co-main event. Petr Yan, former bantamweight champ, and Court McGee, he's been climbing the ranks. So if we look at the rankings, you got Rob the champ. We'll get into his fight announcement later on with Sandhagen. But Marcus McGee. I say Court McGee. It's the wrong one. But yeah, Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee is ranked 12. And he's fighting Petr Yan, who's ranked 3. And I believe this has just come down to a timing and scheduling thing. They both want to fight. Everyone else is sort of booked out or unable to fight just yet. So this is where we're at. And Marcus McGee was really excited when he got the call and no hesitations, which is good signs as well, because Petr Yan is, he's a tough SOB. And Peter was Jan was saying that they was going to fight, he was hoping to fight on Azerbaijan against Umar Nurmagomedov, but Umar turned it down. Typical Dagestanian. Like, when did Umar fought in January and still nothing? So yeah, like again, Dagestanis, not much activity. They're more one fight a year type of thing. But yeah, this matchup is exciting. I feel like it's high volume and sort of low to moderate power in Jan versus medium volume, high power in Marcus McGee. Because Marcus, he's real physical, solid, and like muscular for this division in the bantamweight. It's like you look at him, like he looks pretty scary, to be honest. And he was like chisel, just rock solid, like just could run through brick walls. Like he's definitely one of the most, as far as physicality, like probably the most up there in the bantamweight division. And he's 35 years old, Marcus. So he is getting up there in age, because Peter Yan, I think he's only 30 odd, yeah, 32. But Marcus, he's got low fight mileage though. This will be his 12th professional fight. His current record's 10-1, and he's 4-0 in the UFC. So yeah, he hasn't lost in the UFC. He's on his professional record. Yeah, like is really good. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak. Because yeah, not everyone knows who Marcus sort of is. He's not necessarily put in the spotlight too much. So this fight is definitely getting him in the spotlight, getting him known a lot more. Even if he loses, he's definitely gaining more attention and as a bantamweight, and this will just make him a better fighter going up against such a high level guy. He's got good knockout power. He's got 8 wins by knockout, 1 win by submission, 1 by decision. Yeah, he's a really good skateboarder as well. I don't know if you know, like, skateboarders in general, like these guys possess a form or some level of like no fear, because skateboarding is scary. You ever dropped in on a half pipe or a quarter pipe, or trying to do a kick flip and hoping you land right and not fucking boot scoot off and land on your back? Like, I don't know, this guy's got this. He's got the skateboarding base. This could be the new best base for MMA. I say rugby league is. Some say fucking wrestling, but rugby league, I say, is the best base for MMA. But could skateboarding take over as the best base for MMA? Because it requires some balls, man. It requires some fucking just charge it. I don't give a fuck. Like, skateboarding's hectic. Go watch some Tony Hawk or Ryan Sheckler. Heard of him? Heard of Tony Hawk? Heard of the game? Seriously, skateboarding's not to be messed with. Like this, it's a daredevil sort of a sport. It's now an Olympic sport, and Marcus McGee has skateboarding on his side, and I've seen some videos of him. He's really good. I think he's more of you got vert and street. I think he can mix it up pretty well. He's an MMA fighter. He can mix up between vert with the ramps and then the street, just, jumping down stairs and rails. Could skateboarding fucking take over as one of the best bases for MMA? We shall see, because Marcus, again, he's 35, but low fight mileage. And but as far as a bit of X's and O's in this fight, I think Jan has really good distance management, real nice high guard, real good defense, and he can just walk people down. He'll have to be careful against Marcus just with the power, staying in that range, but I think he just parries it, punches really well and gets out of the way. But yeah, because Marcus, real physical, southpaw. I I see Marcus winning the first round. I think Peter Yan starts a bit slow. He just kind of uses it to figure out his opponents. And then rounds 2 and 3, he really turns it up. But the path to victory and the blueprint game plan to beat Marcus, which is really clear, is to just kick the shit out of his legs. Just batter that front lead leg and then force him into an orthodox stance, because his last fight against Martinez, I think it was in the third round, or end of the second, Martinez finally started chopping his legs and forced him into orthodox, and he couldn't throw any sort of power because he couldn't get that strong base and his legs underneath him to generate that power. And he didn't seem to fight as well from the orthodox position. So that's a clear blueprint for Yan, and I believe that would be his game plan, is just he'll be targeting that front leg straight off the bat. I think that will be the first strike he throws, is the calf or the kick to the thigh on McGee. And has McGee addressed this weakness? Will he check those kicks? Will he get out of the way? We shall see. You saw Israel Adesanya get his leg kicked the shit out of against Pereira when they first fought in the UFC, and then he even tried to address it, but I don't know, Pereira's on a different level with that calf kick. He even tried to address it, but still couldn't defend it. And with McGee, I wonder if he's been able to address it, and if Yan can execute that game plan, because I think it's pretty straightforward. Go in there, kick the shit out of his lead leg, take him away from that powerful southpaw stance he has where he's comfortable, force him to kind of switch it up more, go to orthodox, and I think he won't be generating as much power from the backhand. So that's why I see Yan winning a 29-28 decision. He'll lose the first round, but then he'll come out and just win on points in the second and third, just from just outstriking McGee with the leg kicks and then jabs, and he might even throw a takedown in there maybe. But that's pretty clear path to victory for Yan. Whereas McGee, his path to victory will just I reckon will be to flatline Yan, or just hope Yan doesn't put enough output during the fight. Just win that first round, come out strong, and then do it again in the second round. Really put it all out there, and then the third, just survive. Just move around, just concede the third round, don't get knocked out, and win rounds 1 and 2 for Marcus, or just knock out Yan. So, I think Petr Yan is real smart. I think he's going to batter up that front lead leg of Marcus and force him to switch stance into that orthodox position, and because it's pretty clear with Marcus in his previous fights, especially that Martinez fight, like that's the way to beat him, because Martinez had him hopping around and then he clinched up with him with Marcus, and the commentator like DC and Rogan were just like, what's he doing? A bit of a low fight IQ moment. Whereas Yan, he possesses a good IQ outside of kneeing Aljo in the face illegally. Other than that, he's got a good fight IQ. For Yan, if he wins this, I can definitely see him getting the title shot next. Corey Sandhagen has got it next with Merab, but Corey's ranked 4. Yan and Merab has already fought. So, whereas Marcus, this will catapult him into the top 5, and he could possibly see himself get a title shot if he beats Petr. So, I'm really looking forward to the main event and the co-main. Really good. Both styles could very much win. Really good technical battle, and yeah, let me know what you guys think with Whittaker, because I got Whittaker and Yarn winning the main and co-main. Let me know what you think, how they'll win, and your take on the fight. But we'll keep moving on to the next fight. So the return, Shara Bullet Magomedov takes on Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, it's nothing too crazy to get into this fight, to be honest. Shara Bullet by decision or knockout. That's really it. Marc-Andre's just going to have to make this fight dirty, get in there in the clinch, maybe add some wrestling in there. But I'm not too, it's just going to be a fun fight. I'm going to get into my guess the bonuses soon. But as far as X's and O's, I didn't spend much time on this fight, really. Shara Magomedov just has that great stand-up. He lost his undefeated. He lost his O against MVP in his last fight. I think I feel like he's a bit small for middleweight because MCB is pretty big, but MCB, I think he just knows if he just gets some grappling in there, offensive wrestling, make him tired, because I don't think he's going to be able to outstrike him, but make him tired, land some stuff in the clinch. Watch out for the double spinning elbows. Shara has a magnificent knockout against Armen Petrosian, but it's very clear how you can beat Shara. MVP just outdanced him, but I think Marc-Andre has to get in there, make it dirty, and just get some big haymakers. Shara is going to look nice and clean, some good body kicks, some jabs, but I think I see him winning by TKO, Shara, for sure, but it's going to be a fun fight. But yeah, it's very much just probably a decision, Shara decision, or Marc-Andre can he finish Shara? But Andre, I think isn't as fast. He lacks the speed that Shara has. So that's why I do see Shara getting a TKO, but that's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be I think there's going to be some blood spilt. All right, we move on to the flyweights. Asu Almabaya versus Jose Ochoa. Asu Almabaya coming off that loss to Manuel. He was a pretty, on the rise flyweight, and then he got beat, not pretty badly, but he got outclassed by Manuel. Jose Ochoa coming off a win against Corey Durden. But these flyweights, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's just going to be tit for tat. Probably most likely decision win for Asu Almabayev. And then we go to, this is going to be a fun light heavyweight fight. Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Bogdan Guskov is a really big prospect now in the light heavyweight division. He's exciting. He's 17-3 from Uzbekistan versus the veteran Nikita Krylov. Guskov is coming off that nasty guillotine against Billy Elakina, where he pretty much had him knocked out, but then he was just like, I could just chuck the gilly on him against the cage and submitted him. So I got Guskov via knockout here. And that's gonna be a fun fight. So definitely tune in for that one. Oh shit! Because I'll keep going. I'll finish off the main card, and then I'll tell you who I'm guessing in the bonuses. So to kick off the main card, I'm not going to spend too much time on this degenerate Bryce Mitchell versus Said Nurmagomedov. Bryce finally moves down to bantamweight because he was definitely outsized at featherweight. Like, those guys are just way too big for him. He's coming off that brutal submission ninja choke to Gene Silva. Before that, his win was against Con Gracie, who just laid on his back for 3 rounds. So, and then he got absolutely flatlined against Josh Emmett. Said Magomedov is more of a striker, coming off a loss. Is a slight favourite in this. But yeah, I think it's going to be, I think we're going to see some fun grappling exchanges in this fight. I think Sed's going to kind of dance around the outside, might pick Bryce apart a little bit. But yeah, Bryce moving down, I think this is a good move for him. Definitely outsized, but I could see Bryce get back in the win column here. Could he win by submission? Because I think Sed, I think he has cardio issues, tends to run out of steam. He's never lost by submission, just he's only lost by decision, so he's never been finished. So I do see this fight going to the scorecards like a 29-28, probably even a split decision. So just because of cardio, I think I'm going to have to go with Bryce Mitchell in this. But all right, now bonuses. So my fight of the night. Who's going to get 50K from each guy? Fight of the night. It's sort of a tough one because I was leaning towards the main event, but then I was like, Peter Yan, that'll be a fun fight. There's some weird, wacky fights on the prelims, but they're mostly, not the most exciting fighters on the prelims. So I went with where I think a lot of shots will be landed and there might be a spectacular finish or just a lot of blood spilt. So I got fight of the night going to Shara Bullet and MAB, Marc-Andre Barriault. I think that's going to get fight of the night. And then performance bonuses of the night. So I've got Bogdan Guskov. I think he's going to have like a spectacular knockout submission finish over Nikita Krylov. This guy is the next big thing in the light heavyweight division. And then I've got the guy who is on the prelims who's kicking off the fight card, Marcus Buchecha. This guy is making his UFC debut. He's a Brazilian black belt. This is in the heavyweight division. He's 5-1 in MMA. He's 4-1 championship. 4 wins by submission, 1 by KO, and 1 loss by decision. So I think he's going to get a spectacular submission finish in this fight. And I think he'll get a performance bonus for that. So Marcus Buchecha, Bogdan Guskov, performance of the night, and then Shara Bullet versus MAB for the fight of the night. So, right, so this card is in UFC Abu Dhabi, as we know, and I was meant to kick off with, I like to just do a little bit of a rundown of the city and arena that these fights take place in. And Abu Dhabi, we've been going there quite a bit now. This is the 21st event in Abu Dhabi. As you know, when COVID hit, we're going to Fight Island, Yas Island, which is where we built up a lot of events in Abu Dhabi. It's the capital city of the UAE. It's just next to Dubai. Fighting at Etihad Arena, 18K capacity. Last time we were there was Holloway and Taporia. And we're going there again for Tom Aspinall Garn in October. So, but some interesting facts. And just stuff about Abu Dhabi, because down in Australia we don't really know too much other than just oil and it's hot. But yeah, so like as far as the heat in summer, like it's a low of 29 and goes up 45 plus degrees Celsius in summer. So super hot. They have a minister for happiness created in 2016, a minister for happiness. I don't know what the fuck he does, but yeah. And they also have a minister for AI, but yeah, minister for happiness seems a bit propagandish. What the fuck does that? Sounds like a bit of nepotism. Let's hire old mate, son of sheik or whatever. But yeah, minister for happiness. Um, so they're known for their oil and gas or oil reserves, but oil was only discovered in Abu Dhabi in the late 1950s. So not that long ago, like 70, 75 years, not that long ago. Um, Before that, they were known for their pearl farming and fishing. That's what they were known for. I think the first pearl or something was discovered there. Wait, let me just fact check that. Something about pearls, like it was the first pearl discovered. Yeah, sorry, that's right. Yeah, Abu Dhabi dates back 8,000 years. First world's oldest pearl in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, they were known for their I don't know if you call it pearl farming or whatever, but big pearl guys, Abu Dhabi, but now big oil guys. Big oil guys. Yeah, really wealthy company. Their police are kitted out in luxury cars. They got Rolls Royces, Lambos, Mercedes, Ferraris. Their police kitted out in the Fast and Furious cars, which leads me to movies. There's been some big box office movies filmed there. Fast 7, if you know that scene where they like jump in the McLaren or whatever from like building to building. Star Wars Force Awakens, Dune Part 2. So yeah, Abu Dhabi is really coming about around the world, and yeah, you can thank, yeah, if it wasn't for like UFC and some of these movies and whatever, like yeah, that's really becoming, because it's also kind of like where a lot of people from the southern hemisphere fly into as like a checkpoint. So like I've flown into Dubai from Australia. So if you're coming pretty much from Australia or other places in Asia or New Zealand, maybe like Africa or South Africa, like it's a bit of a checkpoint into Europe to break up the flight. But yeah, other than that, yeah, Abu Dhabi, it's really becoming, one of the big fight places, hosting some of the biggest fights outside of Vegas for sure. Righty, let's go to some prelims. Now, I'm not going to do too much on the prelims. Like the Marcus Buchecha debut against Martin Bido heavyweight is interesting because he's got that submission factor. You got Amanda Ribas, Tabitha Ricci, the only females fighting on the card. Demand Blackshear versus Davey Grant. I think that'll be fun. Muslim Salikov, Carlos Leal. I think Salikov is coming off. I swear this guy was in some sort of boring ass fight. He's coming off a TKO win and then a decision. I think it was the Ponzinibbio fight, which was like, yeah, split decision, which is horrible. So these prelims aren't screaming much to me. And I wanted to mention that because us as UFC fans, like I think you got to start just prioritizing and focus and pay attention to the fights you find interesting. I think people are just becoming slaves to the UFC and think whatever they do is the highway and just go, oh, they're putting on this and that fight, you got to watch. Like I do, if I miss something, I will go back and watch it, but I try and watch the whole event. But they got this ESPN deal to put on. They got this ESPN deal, and they're going to meet the contracts of putting on all these fights and events. So this is where we again get into why we want to see less events, because you just get in some fucking fights where you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, so I really want to like tell you guys, like, you don't have to watch every single fight or know every single fighter, because like they just keep cycling in and out. And you know, as I've been making more videos, and like you go, oh shit, there's like 13 fights, you know, 26 fighters, and you want to try and break them all down. But I just was like, nah, like I'm gonna break down the fights I think matter and mean most, and have like a lot on the line, and to save you guys time as well. Like the fights you should only be paying you should take the time out of your life to watch is Robert Whittaker is the main event, the co-main. Shara Bullet, Bogdan Guskov, maybe Bryce Mitchell. Like those are the fights that you should be really paying attention to, and I find my must watch. Because yeah, like, and I'm not gonna just give rinse and repeat breakdowns once it gets to the prelims or something I don't find interesting, just to break it down for the sake of it. He's coming off a win TKO, so probably gonna do that. Like, I think it's pretty rinse and repeat a lot of these fights and breaking them down. Whereas, like the main event, I did like almost a 20-minute video just on that. So like, when I see something like I find super interesting, ranking title fights on the line, stylistic matchups, like I'm all like, this is what it's about. But when you get to these like matchups that don't mean much, and they just got these fighters on 2-3 fight contracts, and they're just rotating them all, and you know, or they might just be from the UAE. Like, I don't know who the fuck Muhammad is. The guy's 0-2. Why should I spend all this time of my time speaking about and trying to break down a guy who's 12-5 just because he's on the UFC card? Like, he's come from UAE Warriors. He's coming off a knockout loss in the UFC. He's 0-2. Like, I'm not gonna spend time on just because the UFC put it on, and which is like, at the moment it feels like people are kind of like, the UFC have so much control on the market and the fans and the monopolization of MMA, and people got to realize, like, no, like MMA and UFC are a slave to our attention and interest, and always have to try and put on exciting fights to keep us engaged. And at the moment, hopefully this new deal, they really realize that, because you know, I look at these prelims and like, fuck, just call me a casual, sue me, because I don't know who fucking Muhammad is, who's 0-2 in the UFC. Like, I got a whole, you guys, I do have a whole life goals that we want to live, and got shit to do. So like, I'm not going to spend and waste time fucking trying to figure out and find out who this person is. And yeah, I think you guys as fans got to stop. We got to stop like thinking, oh, if you don't watch or know this fighter, you're such a casual, you're not a real fan. So I just think that's bullshit. Like, whereas like when we get these fight announcements like Todd Aspinall versus Garn and Ankalaev Pereira 2, it's like, oh shit, yeah, this is what it's about. Like, I'll get into it. UFC 320 is absolutely stacked. Like, that's what we want to spend our time, and that's what we'll pay. You're not just paying with your money, but you're paying with your time. You can get your money back, but you can't get your time back. And a lot of the time, just because people are fighting, it's like, oh, like I very much respect each and every person getting in there and fighting for our entertainment, very much respect it. But if there's nothing big on the line as far as like title contention, rankings, or storylines, like, it's just UFC putting two people in the ring just because they got to put on fights. And it's good for development of fighters, but yeah, I'm just going on a little bit of a rant of like, it's 6 to 7 hours runtime of a whole card, and like, you guys have a life of your own to live, and don't feel like you got to fucking watch every single fight to like feel like you're know-it-all in UFC, whatever. But when it comes to a fight like Whittaker and RDR, that's where I'm going to spend my time and then tell you guys and break it down for you to save you time to pay attention to, because you got other shit going on. So that's what I'm here to do, is let you know what the shit you should pay attention to and what you should get up for and be excited for, and not sit there the whole time and go, oh, well, that was a fucking waste of time just because it's a UFC fight. Like, what other promotions are you sitting there and watching every single fight? Like, are you watching all the PFL fights as well, or any other MMA regional organization? Like, most likely not. So I don't see why you have to do it for UFC. I think, again, like, they have to engage us and make us go, oh, I want to spend my time sitting and watching these fights and getting invested into it. Whereas if they're not doing that, if they're not giving those vibes, like with some of these fights, and because we got fights coming up as well, like I'll be doing previews next week. If it's not giving fuck yeah vibes, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time fucking going, yeah, I think if he jabs him, I think he can really win this fight. Like, I'm not going to waste my time doing that. I'm going to spend it on other stuff. So, quick little rant, and that gets into, like, here in the East Coast, call out to European fans. You guys have to wake up at like, what, 3 a.m. like the event finishes at like 7 a.m. your time, doesn't it? So this, I'm just going to look for what time this card starts, Australian time. Because yeah, EU fans, like, you shouldn't be waking up for those some of those stupid prelim fights they put on. I get if it's the main card or main event, yeah. So the prelims, fucking hell. So the prelims start at 2 a.m. The fuck? This UFC website's fucking me around. It's saying, yeah, 2 a.m. Australian time. Sunday morning, 2 a.m. the prelims start. And then the main card, 5 a.m. So Robert Whittaker, so the main event probably won't be until like 7:30, 7:30-ish. So it's like, am I gonna fucking wake up at 2 a.m.? No, I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. Like, I'm not sacrificing my sleep and body clock to fucking sit there and half asleep watching fucking Muhammad Yahya, who's 0-2. Like, fucking, I'll go back on Fight Pass and watch him afterwards, but I'm not live watching those fights. Well, I wake up for the main card. Yes, Bogdan Guskov kicks off the main card. Shara Magmedov. Like, I'll be waking up for the main card. But EU fans, like, how do you guys do it? Are you waking up for the prelims every fucking card? Are you getting up that early, or are you just going for main event, or do you just skip the whole card entirely? Like, that's what I was saying before. Like, don't stop being a slave to this promotion as far as, like, I gotta watch every fight live or whatever. Just watch the important, or don't even, because again, like, if it ain't fucking doing it for you, don't feel the need. Because that's very much what I'm getting with the UFC. Getting like, fuck, I love the fights very much, but it's becoming fucking tedious with some of the events they're putting on. Because I think we got like, on a 9-week stretch of every weekend, which is great, but also it's like, I'm not going to fucking spend an hour breaking down Albazi versus fucking Tatsu Taira at fucking Apex. Like, seriously. But yeah, let's enough of that. Feel like I just had to bring that up for you guys to let you know that I'm just wanting to spend time on what you should be watching. All right, let's get into the fight announcements. So this is where the good part of UFC comes in. We got UFC 320, October 5th, Ankalaev and Pereira rematch each other for the light heavyweight strap. And then co-main is Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. That's going to be a really exciting fight. Here in Australia, you could do a future champ of each division bets. And I got Corey Sandhagen at $31 odds to be the bantamweight champ at the end of this year. So I'm liking that very much, at $31 odds. So I'm hoping he wins this fight. And then we got the return of Yuri Prohaska and Khalil Roundtree. Like, how fucking good is that card? Like, this is where it's like, yes, UFC. This is what it's about. So obviously you have your lows or whatever in competition, but this is what it's about. And then finally, Tom Aspinall gets a fight booked against Cyril Gane as in Abu Dhabi, UFC 321. So he's now undisputed champ. He now gets booked against the #1 ranked guy, Cyril Gane. The co-main at this stage is Alexander Volkov and Jeltsin Almeida. There's a lot of fucking light heavyweights on this card. And then we got Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. Hamdi Abdelawab versus Chris Barnett. Just more ebbs and obs. So yeah, finally Tom Aspinall gets a booking. People saying Cyril Gane doesn't deserve it, which I can understand because he got that controversial win over Volkov, where it probably should be Volkov in this position, but because technically on the books he didn't win, Cyril Gane gets it, and meritocracy wins. I think they just like, they haven't fought each other. Let's just get this fight booked. Let's get Tom in there. It lines up with Gane. Let's get him, Cyril, it will be a fun matchup because Cyril's a fun stand-up fighter. And yeah, so it is what it is. And happy for Gane as well, getting another shot at it. But yeah, but as far as these announcements, far out. I wake up and then I check my phone and it's like, oh, all these fights announced. You're like, fucking hell, like, it's like a few hours before they announced, Dana's like, oh, I'm going live on Instagram to announce these fights. It's fucking 3 a.m. here in Australia when you're asleep. So it's a bit annoying, but I feel like the fights and all that shit don't get done until like a few hours before they can announce it. So I feel like they're announcing it like ASAP, but I don't know. Like UFC, MMA world, it's 24/7. You're waking up to news and shit. Like fucking Sean Strickland just got suspended from the Nevada Athletic Commission because he like stormed the cage in this regional promotion. So he's been suspended. But yeah, you're always waking up to something in the UFC. It gets a little bit annoying, especially with fight announcements, because you want to make some content around it. You're always just going to be on the fly as always. So like, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. Went a bit of a rant about, time and attention, watching fucking shitty fights, why you shouldn't. A bit of a rant there, but I feel like I just had to say it. And to let you, and to give you sort of how I go about previews and breaking down fights, where it's like, I'm not going to rinse and repeat a lot of breakdowns with sort of nothing fights because I think it's just a waste of time and I'm just not that interested. But Robert Whittaker versus RDR, did a whole almost 20-minute video just on that fight. So where it does matter, I'm all in, baby. So UFC Abu Dhabi, let me know your predictions on the fights, the main event, the co-main, especially that Peter Yan and Marcus McGee fight. I find that really interesting. I kind of wish it was a 5-round fight. Let me know your predictions. Let me know if you agree with me on that rant about attention and, UFC's got to be a bit better with that and stop taking the piss. Like, the buck doesn't stop with them. It stops with you guys. You guys decide how well the UFC does. It's just because it's the UFC, it doesn't mean you got to fucking bend down to the corporate fucking dollar, the monopoly fights fucking they put on. So let me know if you agree. EU fans, let me know, should I wake up for the prelims? How do you do it? Coffee, white monsters, maybe some McGregor powder. Let me know how you do it. Should I get it for the prelims or just the main card? But yeah, enjoy the fights. We'll be doing a review show the day after Abu Dhabi, so be sure to pay attention, like, subscribe. Every bit of engagement helps. But yeah, I love it. I'm gonna keep doing it. And you guys have a great day. Enjoy the fights.